So today we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials, and we're going to kind of break the multiplying polynomials down into a couple of different lessons. So in this one we're going to start with a monomial. Remember that mono prefix means one, so one term times other terms. So really and truly that means we're using the distributive property. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Oops, can't spell there. Distributive property. Okay, so what we're going to look at right here is you have one mono. I'm going to highlight that in pink. There's my monomial. And I'm going to go ahead and do my distributive property, where I'm going to multiply both things on the outside. And so we're just going to go ahead and do that over here. So for letter A, we end up with 3x plus 9. And for part B, we would do negative 4 times 3, which would be negative 12x. And negative 4 times negative 8, which will be a positive 32. And so we're going to go ahead and just do straight distributive property. Now, it's possible that it's not going to just always be just a coefficient out front. So now what we're going to do is when distributing with a variable, apply the product, multiply, or the product rule of exponents. And for those of you that don't remember, that means we add the exponents together. So I'm going to make this real big so we can see it. First, we're going to do our distributive, x times x, and then x times 2. So remember, those are invisible ones, if you don't remember that. So that would give me, let me go ahead and write that nicer. That would give me x squared plus 2x. So now we're going to do the same thing, only now we have a coefficient and a variable. So the 3 is going to stay there, and an imaginary 1 and imaginary 1 on the two a's still make it a to the second power. So it's 3a squared plus, and 4 times 3 is 12, and the a tags along. All right, so now we're going to do it again, keeping in mind the negative sign this time. That's the only thing that's different. So again, that will be negative 2x second power. And a negative 2 times a negative 8 would make that a positive 16, and the y tags along. If I don't tell you like I did on D, that's a negative 1, or you can just go ahead and just remember it's a negative. So that would be negative x squared plus 8x. We always put the coefficient first. Excuse me. So letter E, we just have a trinomial now instead of a binomial. So you're just going to multiply it times all 3 items. So 2 and 3 makes 6. And I have 1b on the outside plus 2 b's on the inside. So that would be b to the third power. And then 2 times 4 is 8. And a b make b squared. And 2 times minus 8 is minus 16. And then I have a b. So let's try this last one. The only thing that's different is I have a lot of variables on the front in the monomial. So again, we're only interested in combining the parts that match. So if you multiply 4 times 2, you clearly have 8. There's an a and an a, so that would be a to the second power. I don't add any extra b's, so that stays b to the second power. And then when I'm finished with that one, we go ahead and multiply it times the b. So this time it's still going to be 4 and a, but I have an extra b to add to the b squared, so we're at b to the third power. And then we take 4 times negative 3, which will give me negative 12, and then the letters will stay the same this time. So pretty straightforward. It's just like the exponent chapter that we just completed. So now let's look at the assignment. So let me go ahead and pull it up. What we're going to do is we're going to multiply our own set. So you're going to get a partner. See how it says grab a partner. And you're going to work one column. So let's say this is my column. And this is my partner's column. I'm only going to be working this column and this column. And my partner's going to be working B. And we're going to essentially work the green section there in the middle together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my particular problem. So let's say I'm working number 2. While I am doing this one, my partner is doing this one. So I have 8y to the second power and plus 16y. My partner, on the other hand, let's do it in different colors so you can see that. That partner is going to end up with 15y squared and then minus 6y. Now, I am going to do that. Sometimes it's subtraction and sometimes it's addition, so I have to pay attention. I am partner A, so that means I'm going to take my answer. Let me go ahead and change back to blue. I have this number, and my partner has this number. I'm just going to go ahead and line them up underneath each other so you can kind of see it. And now we're going to add them together to come up with the final answer. So 15 and 8 make 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. 23y to the second power. And 16 take away 6 is 10. And if I've done it correctly, I should match the answer that they gave me. Since it did, I know that my partner's right. I know that I'm right. If for some reason, when you do the math in the middle section and you do not give the answer that I have given you, then you know that either your partner or you have made a mistake or you've combined them with a mistake, and the two of you need to work together to figure out what is wrong with it. All right, so let's go down and do another one that looks like maybe a subtraction sign that maybe has a few more letters in it. So let's say I'm going to look at number 7. Again, I am going to do my problem. So my problem is 140u minus 60u squared. My partner, on the other hand, is going to use their calculator and come up with 2 14s is 28u squared, and a negative and a negative make a positive. And then 14 times 12, again, I don't know, so I'm going to look that up on my calculator. Let me get my calculator open on my phone. Give me a sec. 12 times 14 is 168, so I'll go plus 168u. Now, notice it says subtract, so the B partner goes first. So 28u squared plus 168u. And I'm going to subtract from that my answer. So notice it's subtract a negative 60u squared. And then subtract 140u. So right here, I should be smart enough to know that 2 negatives make that a positive. So 60 plus 28 is going to give me a grand total of 88u squared. And 168 minus 140 is plus 28u. So again, I will have that. Now, you're working it together, which means your page should have only 2 columns filled out. You'll have your column A and the answer column. Your partner, on the other hand, will have the answer column and B. So when you're finished with all of those, then you can turn it in.